Now that's a reimbursement form. And that's typical of the forms that were submitted from time to time by the branches.
That's correct.
And you recognise that's the signature of Mr. Mader in the bottom left?
Yes.
So the reimbursement form, so this form is claiming 50% of the total annual cost, namely $186,868. Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
And if you then come to page 10 of the bundle, this is the actual invoice issued by TW Vic Tas branch to TW Super for $93,434.
Yep.
Which is the 50% of the total cost.
Yes, it is.
And did you ask, and you'll see from the invoice it says Super Training Officer, 50% share for financial year 1 July 2010 to 30 June 2011. Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
Did you make any inquiry about what work had actually been carried out by the SLO for the Vic Tas branch during that period?
No, I didn't, and I normally wouldn't.
Would it surprise you to learn that the SLO only spent 2.5 days doing work, at least in Tasmania, in respect of that year?
Well, it would, but I doubt that that's all of the story.
You doubt that, do you?
Oh, I doubt that it's as simple as 50% here and 2.5 days that you described before. I doubt that that's the full story.
Well, if I ask you to assume that in the year ending 30 June 2011, Mr. Berger spent 5 days in Tasmania, of which he spent 50% of his time working as an SLO and the other 50% of his time doing other work for the union. Make that assumption for me.
Yep.
So he spent 2.5 working days in Tasmania over that year. And he may also have received, while he was in Victoria, a couple of calls a month from TW Super members, in addition to the 2.5 days. Now, if you make those assumptions for me, does it surprise you that TW Super was paying $93,434 for that work?
Well, if those assumptions are all correct, it would.
Well,
And I think we just better polish them up a little bit. It was more than a couple, I think he said. Didn't he say a few? And secondly, he said he had to follow up on them, and that took some time.
Yes, yes. So he had 2.5 days in Tasmania. In addition, he had a few calls per month, and he may have had to do follow-up work in respect of those calls. Assume that for me. But that was the totality of what he did. Now, does it surprise you that TW Super paid $93,434 for that work?
If that was all that was done, yes, it would surprise me.
Because that would be a inappropriate use of members' funds on the part of TW Super. Agreed?
As I said, if that was all that was done, yes, it would be.